We've got an update on the game that strippers didn't sink. We'll tell you how well The Witness is doing. We've got a trilogy of stories about Nintendo VR, profits, and details on the launch of its first mobile app. We'll tell you about a PC port that has some big problems, what's next for Star Wars The Force Awakens, and how LeBron James's tattoos are getting Take-Two and NBA 2K16 in trouble. Welcome to Polygon Minimap, your daily audio tour through the world of video games, related technologies, and pop culture favorites like comics, movies, and TV. I'm your host, Dave Tack, and it is February 2nd, 2016. Let's do the news. Daily Minimap listeners will remember yesterday's story about a game called Ant Simulator. The short version is, it's done, at least for now, and the slightly longer version is that it came about after a game jam, and three friends who had known each other since middle school were working on it. But Eric Tarashinsky, one of the three, said farewell to Ant Simulator and to the company those three founded through a YouTube video, and they are no longer friends. Tarashinsky told Polygon, the problem is these guys clearly demonstrated to me I should have no part of them. The clearest thing was I should get as far away from these guys as possible. Those guys are Tyler Montz and Devin Staley. Tarashinsky says that the pair misspent the money they raised for the game, that he spent 10,000 hours developing it, and that he has nothing to show for it. We heard from Tarashinsky, but not from Montz and Staley. Those two, though, responded to Game Informer to categorically deny Tarashinsky's allegations and, in turn, accuse him of bad faith dealings as well. Montz alleged that in late fall, Tarashinsky, quote, took control of everything at the studio, including the company's bank accounts, and began closing them down or mothballing them. Montz accused Tarashinsky of, quote, wanting to take it all for himself and cut us out of it, timing his actions right after Ant Simulator grew in popularity. Montz also alleged Tarashinsky transferred studio funds to his personal account. Tarashinsky had accused Staley specifically of being deceptive about his efforts in his role as Director of Operations. After a trip to the Game Developers Conference 2015 turned up a promising lead with Sony, Tarashinsky said Montz did not follow through on plans to submit the game to the console maker in order to receive a software development kit. Tarashinsky also said Staley lied about conversations with Sony, saying the company wanted to see more polish on the game and using that to hustle Tarashinsky's work. As for Tarashinsky's allegations about Sony and the software development kit, Montz said the game was unready to be shown and that Tarashinsky failed to deliver a working demo suitable enough to impress their Sony contact. Montz and Staley also say they are considering legal action against Tarashinsky. Nintendo is exploring the possibility of getting into virtual reality, despite saying just last year that the technology isn't fun. The surprising news came out of a bleak quarterly earnings announcement in which Nintendo president Tatsumi Kimishima worked to reassure investors with the promise of the company's move into mobile games and the yet-to-be-detailed NX console. Nintendo's third quarter revenues and profits dropped compared to the same period last year, and 3DS and Wii U sales were down. Kimishima told investors that the company's first mobile game was on track to be released in March and that the next one would not be a communication app and that it would include a well-known intellectual property, according to Bloomberg. Our second game will not be a communication app. We are going to pick some intellectual property that is very well known to everyone, Kimishima said. There are plans for new business in the works. Kimishima also reassured investors that work on the NX console remains on track and that the company is exploring the possibilities of virtual reality. Last year, Nintendo said that the NX would be detailed sometime in 2016. Word that Nintendo is now possibly considering virtual reality could mean that the company is not as far along into the development of the NX as previously thought. Kimishima did not address when the NX would be officially announced or detailed this year. Interest in VR is likely recent given what Reggie Fils-Aimé told Polygon at E3. Here's what he said, quote, "We have knowledge of the technical space and we've been experimenting with this for a long time. What we believe is that in order for this technology to move forward, you need to make it fun and you need to make it social. I haven't walked the floor, so I can't say in terms of what's on the floor today, but at least based on what I've seen so far, it's not fun and it's not social, it's just tech." The seeming shift in interest in the technology could be driven by the continued increase in virtual reality gaming, which is being driven by the upcoming releases of the PlayStation VR, Oculus Rift, and Vive headsets. That is just the first in a trio of Nintendo stories today. Next up, Nintendo suffered another sharp loss in profit for its fiscal quarter ending in December, but it saw good news in the sales performance of Splatoon and Super Mario Maker, calling them, quote, blockbusters that vitalize the Wii U platform. The bad news for Nintendo, profits declined 36% compared to the same quarter a year ago. That lack of performance is seen in the slowing sales of the Wii U, down slightly at 2.1% from the preceding quarter, and in the 3DS line down 28%. Yet Nintendo still posted an overall profit, both for the quarter and the 9 months comprising its current fiscal year. Nintendo is also sticking to its earlier estimates in revenue, operating profit, and net profit for its fiscal year, which closes in 3 months. So there seems to be a moot point feeling about traditional measures as Nintendo approaches a shake-up 2016. Roughly speaking, the company is asking investors to be patient. Among typical quarterly measurements, Nintendo has something to brag about with Splatoon and Super Mario Maker. Splatoon pushed over the 4 million units sold mark after launching in late May. Super Mario Maker, which launched in September, stands at 3.34 million units as of December 31st. Those are the numbers 6 and 7 best-selling titles for Wii U made by Nintendo to date. Super Smash Bros., which launched in September 2014, is number 5 at 4.61 million units on Wii U. To date, the Wii U has sold 12.6 million units since its November 2012 launch, and the Nintendo 3DS, that's the entire line, has sold 57.94 million units. The first 3DS launched in February 2011. And finally, for Nintendo, it plans to launch its new rewards program, which is called My Nintendo, and its first mobile app, Miitomo, for Android and iOS in March. My Nintendo is the company's replacement for the shuttered Club Nintendo program. My Nintendo will launch globally this March in 39 countries throughout North America, Europe, Japan, Russia, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. The service will reward members with 2 types of points, Platinum points and Gold points. Platinum points can be earned by logging into Nintendo's eShop, playing games, and visiting Nintendo's websites. Those points can be spent on digital goods like wallpapers and themes for the 3DS. Nintendo described Platinum points as being used mainly, quote, for fun. Gold points can be earned by purchasing content from the eShop. They can be used for discounts on games and software, Nintendo said. Miitomo, the Mi-powered social communication app that Nintendo unveiled in October, will launch mid-March in Japan. Nintendo expects to roll out Miitomo to other territories that same month, supporting 8 languages: English, Dutch, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Spanish, and Russian in 16 territories. Nintendo said it will be accepting pre-registration for Miitomo starting on February 17th. The Witness, the brain-melting puzzle game from Thekla Incorporated, racked up sales of, quote, substantially more than 100,000 units and over $5 million in gross revenue during its first week of release, lead developer Jonathan Blow announced today. The figures are combined totals for the 2 platforms on which The Witness is available, that's PlayStation 4 and Windows PC. Blow noted that sales were both very strong and said that, quote, neither of these platforms dominates our sales. Thekla's publishing contracts with certain online storefronts prevent the studio from revealing specific sales numbers for either platform, but Blow said that the figures from Steam Spy, which currently estimates the number of Witness owners on PC at more than 50,100, with a margin of error of just under 5,000, are, quote, a bit too low. The Witness thus qualifies as a really nice success, Blow said. Launch week sales on each platform, PC and PS4, quote, handily beat those of Braid, Blow's previous game, which debuted on the Xbox 360's Xbox Live Arcade platform in August 2008. Braid launched at $14.99, while The Witness costs more than twice as much at $39.99. So the fact that we beat Braid by units more than doubly is a really nice success, said Blow. He also noted that the $5 million of gross revenue for The Witness's first week is a good chunk more than what Braid generated during its entire first year of release, although he said Thekla has not yet broken even on The Witness. The studio does seem to be on its way to making its money back, which is great news for Blow, who said a year ago that he had borrowed, quote, a bunch of money to finish The Witness. Braid's development budget was $200,000, which Blow funded himself. Thekla is currently focusing on fixing problems with graphics drivers for the Windows PC version and is also working on adding configurable controls and rendering options to both versions. Blow added that in the near future, the team will start investigating bringing The Witness to other platforms with Android, iOS, Mac, and Xbox One all under serious consideration, he said. Thekla previously announced plans for an iOS version. If this sounds interesting to you, check out the show notes for a link to this article where you can watch us play through it, where you can read our review, and you can find a link to our guide. More news right around the corner, but I want to tell you a story first. An empowered tyrant oppresses a people. A youngling challenges his authority and is struck down for it. They're pawns, capital P, pawns, in a land controlled by gods and devils. Journey into a universe where half-breeds have control and where human-like beings are the invaders. This is Pawn's Caspil's Tale, an animated sci-fi film created by the Wren's Film Project, a collective of indie artists with an unorthodox style of producing film where everything, that's right, everything, is made public and nothing is sacred. It's an animated sci-fi film created by the Wren's Film Project, and right now it's in its pre-production stage, and the Wren's team needs your help to carry it on. The next phase of production is storyboarding and creating an animatic. So go to patreon.com/Wren's Film Project, R-E-N-Z Film Project, one word, Wren's Film Project, and you can show your support there by pledging $10 or more. You can receive a free illustration commissioned by you every month. How about that? Become a Patreon and help this film see the light of day. By pledging, you'll have access to work files and exclusive content from the film, ZBrush sculpts of characters, layered Photoshop files, and more. So again, for more info and to become a Patreon, go to renzfilmproject.com, R-E-N-Z filmproject.com, where you can scroll through a gallery of content, view renders, read parts of the script, and check out concept art from the film. If you want to be a Patreon, patreon.com/Wren's Film Project. Show your support and the doors of their studio will open to you. Patreon.com/Wren's Film Project and wrensfilmproject.com. We'd like to thank them for sponsoring Polygon Minimap. The Windows PC port of Tales of Symphonia, Bandai Namco's beloved 2003 role-playing game, was released on Steam this week, but fans soon discovered that the quality of that re-release was not up to modern standards. Tales of Symphonia's PC port shipped with a locked resolution and frame rate, almost non-existent graphical options, and what appears to be a sloppy localization. Tales of Symphonia is, by its own description, quote, based on the PlayStation 3 port of the original GameCube game, so it's taken a few leaps across console generations to get here. But game crashes, missing features, and obvious bugs have angered Tales series fans on Steam, leading to an influx of negative user reviews. Some of the most common complaints surround Tales of Symphonia's internal resolution and frame rate, which are locked at 720p and 30 frames per second respectively, though some users report running the game at 40 frames per second. Others point to technical problems related to the game's built-in DRM and tabbing between the game and other programs. Users have pointed out problems with the game's localization too, which appears incomplete. Some menu items appear in English even if the user has their language set to French, German, or Spanish. Some menu items are simply blank, At least one menu option has a glaring typo in English. It should read Battle Controls. It reads Battle Contorals. Fortunately for Tales fans, well-known modder Peter Durante Thoman has already updated his generic downsampling tool, aka Jito Sato, with a plugin for Tales of Symphonia. It currently addresses the locked internal resolution of 720p, though Thoman says he's only spent a few hours working on his latest fix. Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment and developer TT Games have officially announced LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. The game will debut across all major platforms: Nintendo 3DS, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, Wii U, Windows PC, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. But PS3 and PS4 owners will have access to exclusive downloadable content. The Force Awakens LEGO adaptation will not only cover the 2015 film, but introduce new content filling in the gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. Also new, a multi-build option and blaster battles, both unique to this LEGO game. Players will also be able to pilot the Millennium Falcon while playing as various characters from the film like Finn, Poe Dameron, and Rey. LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens will also receive a season pass, although details remain scant on what it will include or its release schedule. A deluxe edition copy of the game, detailed by the game's official website, promises access to the season pass content in full. It also comes with an exclusive FN2187, otherwise known as Finn, LEGO figure. The majority of these details leaked ahead of the official announcement when the trailer found its way to YouTube earlier this week. The Xbox Game Store also posted a listing for the game in advance of its reveal. Yesterday, Warner Brothers teased that it would be bringing two major brands together for a massive announcement to be detailed this morning. Yet Electronic Arts previously signed an exclusive licensing agreement with Disney and Lucasfilm to develop and publish games based on the Star Wars franchise. It remains unclear as to what arrangement Warner Brothers, Disney, and Lucasfilm came to release this game. Check the show notes for a link to this article, because you should really check out the gallery of screenshots we have in there, and more importantly, the trailer, which is great. Another sports video game publisher has run afoul of tattoo artists for rendering real ones on virtual players' bodies. 2K is in the dock this time because of tattoos on former NBA 2K cover stars Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, and players DeAndre Johnson, Eric Bledsoe, and Kenyon Martin. 2K Games, its parent, Take-Two Interactive, and developing studio Visual Concepts were sued in federal court on Monday by Solid Oak Sketches, which owns the copyright on those designs. Solid Oak says it has licensing agreements with those players acknowledging those rights. This isn't the first time copyright laws come up regarding body ink and video games, but under the law, it remains a muddy subject because previous high-profile cases have all been settled. THQ, the maker of UFC's licensed video games until 2012, was sued that year by an Arizona tattoo parlor over body art appearing on the fighter Carlos Condit. Electronic Arts and the former running back Ricky Williams were sued over a tattoo appearing on his body on the cover of 2004's NFL Street. And most bizarrely, the makers of the 2011 film The Hangover 2 were sued by the person who designed Mike Tyson's distinctive face tattoo. A version of it appeared on Ed Helms' face in that movie as part of a running gag with a boxer. Without a ruling at a district court level, it's both difficult to say which side might prevail or whether the lawyer's fees for finding out is worth it to either party. The plaintiff in the 2K case says the value of all the tattoos it owns that appear in the NBA 2K series is about $800,000, with about $250,000 of that attributable to James's tattoos appearing on the cover of NBA 2K14. Although Bryant was the cover star of 2009's NBA 2K10, that value was not specifically broken out in the lawsuit's claims. The suit mentions that the artists offered Take-Two a perpetual rights license for $1.1 million, which the company apparently refused. Take-Two Interactive, the publisher of the NBA 2K series, did not respond to The Hollywood Reporter, which first reported on the lawsuit. Electronic Arts in 2014 reached an agreement with backup quarterback Colin Kaepernick over the presentation of his distinctive tattoos in Madden NFL 15, mindful of the stink created by the Williams litigation and other cases. Over the years, leagues have given licensed style books, full of high-quality photographs depicting players for use in illustrating them for posters, advertising, and in video games. But the issue has become enough of a concern that in 2014, the NFL Players Union advised its members to get copyright permissions when they got inked for their own legal protection. EA Sports then adopted a policy of using real tattoos on athletes only if they secure the permissions of the artists behind them. And that is the biggest news of today. Lots of news today. Lots of places, lots of weird stuff, lots of good stuff, maybe some not good stuff, but it's all there. Of course, that's not the only stuff you can read at Polygon.com, our website, our little corner of the internet. Probably the biggest thing that's there right now is Ben Kuchera, our resident virtual reality expert, and his story. Well, here's what it's called. It'll tell you everything you need to know and why you should read it. This is how Vive beats the Rift. Games and packed-in motion controls. Not bad, right? Also, we've got a video that you might want to check out because there is a new format system in Hearthstone. We wrote about it, but we also made a video, and it's kind of cool to just watch that and learn from a couple of guys who know all about it. Of course, links to that, of course, links to everything we have talked about are available in the show notes. That's right, a flick away in your podcast player on your smartphone or over at polygon.com/minimap or at itunes.com/minimap. Those URLs are also great for subscribing to the show, which just means you get it every day delivered to your device of choice free of charge. We would love to have you as a Minimapper. So go to polygon.com/minimap or itunes.com/minimap to subscribe. Oh, and over at polygon.com/minimap, you can also download the episode as your very own MP3 if you're into that. Questions, comments, concerns, whatever, minimap at polygon.com or at DPTACH on Twitter. All right, that is it. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you right back here tomorrow.